Hello, my name is Trevor Fall, and I've been teaching English since 1998, both academic and business, as well as settlement English to help you adjust to life in Canada. And today I'm going to talk about how to improve your listening. So it doesn't matter what city I'm in, what country I'm in, or if I'm in a classroom and people are coming from many different countries, I've always had the same answers when I ask people, how do you improve your English? And so lots of times people say, well, I'm watching movies, I'm watching TV, listening to music, YouTube, nowadays Netflix, podcasts, and or I'm going to a store or I'm on the bus and I'm listening to people around me. Those are all ways that we can hear English and in its natural environment. But in my experience and observation, this is a very passive way because you're just listening. And when you're watching a movie, when you're listening to music, people around you, there's a lot that's happening. There's going to be faster and slower speaking. There's going to be different types of pronunciation. You're going to uh, have difficulty with some idioms or maybe some slang, swear words. And usually, we're not going to stop and listen to a section 2 or 3 times. If we're watching a movie, we just watch it. So you're just sitting there and taking it in. It's a slower way of improving your English. So what I recommend and what I've used with thousands of students over the last 25 years is to be a little bit more active, a little bit more focused with your English listening. So the best way to do this is to be listening to English audio that has questions, and I'm going to just share with you a couple of options. So one that is very helpful for a lot of people is British Council. So under their listening, I'll just scroll down here, but under their listening, they have different levels. And the nice thing with this is as you're going through these different sections, if you're doing well at one level, then like well meaning 75-80% correct, then you can go to the higher level. And this way, step by step, as you listen and answer questions and become more confident in your listening, then you can see an improvement over weeks and months. So A1, A2, which is used in Europe most commonly, that's beginner, high beginner level. Then they have B1 and B2, so that's intermediate levels. And then they have C1, which would be advanced levels. So let's just go to B1 listening. And under here they have multiple lessons. So let's say, for example, I go down to a weather forecast. When I click on it, they will have a listening. So this one is 2 minutes. They have the transcript, but don't look at the transcript yet. But what you would do is look at the tasks. So in task 1, they want you to be grouping information, meaning putting it together into rainy weather or sunny weather. And then in task 2, so I would listen to it, I would answer task 1, then I would go into task 2, and here they have true-false questions. Okay, so probably I would listen twice. I would look at the questions first, go through the listening, look at the questions, try to answer them, go through and listen a second time, if necessary a third time. I would not try and listen 4 or 5 or 6 times. If you're not understanding 40, 50, 60% within the first 2 or 3 listenings, then that means the level is too high for you. There is another website, and I'm not sure why it's not opening right now. It's been used also for years, and again, there's easy, intermediate, advanced. There's 6 or 7 actual different levels on this. So I will check back and see if this is active or available in the future as well. And then with the British Council, there's the Learning English for adults. They're also a teen section. Doesn't mean you need to be a teenager to be listening for this. So for example, they also have the A1 to C1 levels, and just slightly different topics that might be more interesting for teens or for young adults, people in their 20s and 30s, but regardless of your age, you could go down, and this is a little bit more informal, with some of those. I think that's a bigger difference with formal and more informal. So one last thing is the BBC has English for Adults, and when you click on it, they have reading, writing, and then a listening, speaking section. And so here, there's not so much a lot of listenings, but they give specific advice and strategies for types of listening, specific details, etc., and then formal and informal speaking. Now, while this is very useful, sometimes students say, well, I can practice my listening and I'm improving in the classroom, but when I'm listening on the news or at people in the mall, or sometimes people don't understand me and I'm not understanding what they're saying. And so another piece of advice that I would give, and this can be seen in a separate section, but meaning I can make a second video with more details on this. But the other thing I would recommend is look to improve your pronunciation. And sometimes students are like, well, that's speaking. Why is that going to help me with my listening? But in English, as we're speaking, many times we're using a few different skills. And so, for example, when I'm listening for rhythm or intonation, dun da dun da da, da 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 dun, dun dun dun. So there's different patterns we have in words, phrases, and sentences. So for example, I don't just say, there is a spider in the bathroom. I'm very robotic. Instead, I would say, there is a spider in the bathroom. Da 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 da, da 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 da. And so when someone says a word or a phrase and their intonation or their pronunciation, stress of the word is in the wrong place, that's where it's sometimes a bit harder to understand. There's a spider in the bathroom. That sounds a little bit off. So our brain understands the words, but it takes a millisecond to adjust and to get a better, clearer understanding. What did that person say? So by you paying attention and working on your rhythm and stress in syllables and words, that will help you also understand as other people are emphasizing certain words. Also with pronunciation, contractions. So for example, I will, I'll, or yeah, I should have gone to the bank. I shoulda. What's I shoulda? Well, I should have gone to the bank, or I should have taken more clothing. Yeah, I don't know. What is that? Well, I don't know, or I would have known, I would go. So by improving your pronunciation and your awareness of the sounds and how we shorten words and the rhythm, stress, and sentences, those are all things that can help you increase your listening abilities. And then two last ones with individual sounds. So some common sounds are the TH, Thursday, that, this, them. R's, L's, V's, W's, Z's, those are all letters that students mispronounce because they may not be common or said slightly different in your first language. And again, paying attention, those will help. Lastly, listening to word endings, especially with numbers, getting more practice with that can be very helpful. You know, did they say 13 or did they say 30? The 30, 40, 50, 60 is a short stop, whereas the teen sound, we drag it out. We add an extra beat or length to that. 13, 40, teen. So if people are having difficulty understanding you with these numbers, teens and 20, 30, 40, just keep in mind, say it a little bit longer for the teens than you think. Like 13, say 13, so that it's very clear for the person that you're listening to. And same when you're listening, listen, is it a long vowel or is it a short vowel? Which reminds me, I'm just going to go back to, there's one other website that I think would be very helpful for the listening. And so there's a lady named Isles Liz, and she has on her website, I know the focus is on listening, but there's tips and tricks for listening in general. but also when you scroll down, so she has 25 tips, but what's nice is here, listening for names, listening for time, video, confusing numbers, listening for plurals, and then she has a whole list of listenings with different types of questions. So any IELTS website, especially IELTS Liz, or there's another fellow, now I'm going to forget his name, Chris Pell, right, IELTS Advantage. That's another website. So not just the websites where there's specific listening strategies, but also some of these listening websites or websites that help you with the IELTS exam. That will also help you with to give you more practice and more material for listening. So thank you for listening to this video. I will make another short video with more details about how to improve your pronunciation, and I look forward to seeing you in the other videos. Again, my name's Trevor Fall. Have a great day.